Hey, you're not stupid. You might have thought you're stupid. You're not stupid. But I'm being funny, but I'm being serious. You're not. I think there are a lot of people that, oh, I don't know how to do this kind of stuff, and I'm stupid. No, that's not the case. In fact, I think a lot of people are intelligent beyond measure in certain areas, but not in other areas. And you just based on what we're going to talk about today of how you can actually gain intelligence, in my opinion. But you're not a stupid person. In fact, if you can find a way to tap into the thing that got you smart in one specific area and you reapplied it, you'd be one of the smartest people in your circle of friends quickly. Wouldn't even take that long. So for me, I look back on my years. I've always had ADHD. I'm very kind of scatterbrain idea guy. I have learned systems to manage my own brain of how I can drop ideas and work on things and focus. You have no idea how hard it is sometimes to just keep myself in this studio to talk to you like this when I do videos. My brain wants to go a million places and I close tabs. In fact, I gotta close a tab here. It's open because my brain's already thinking about, I wonder what's on that little thing. So doing that alleviates all the stress. So what I do is I go, okay, girl, how do I manage this? How do I actually find out this intelligence portion? And here's what I want you to realize. You have the intelligence and ability to create intelligence because you have a brain. As long as your brain is not neurodivergent by too much, you're able to actually learn and apply, and all these crazy cool things can happen. So what I've noticed is people they don't know how to tap into it, right? So when I was growing up as a kid, I was not the smartest human. I was intelligent in a stance of I could learn and read. And I was forced to have to do it because of situations I've been through that have been traumatic for me. So my brain to kind of always scan and pay attention to who's going to be able to support and to protect me, or who's going to be detrimental and negative and dangerous to me, we'll call it. So it taught me to kind of scan, and so I learned certain ways to really navigate conversation, to communicate the way I communicate with you. What's crazy though is it didn't translate well to smarts of books and school and studying. I wasn't given those skill sets. So with a measure, if you took a measure of my academics from grades, you'd go, Anthony's kind of stupid, man. He's got like a 1 point something. He's not a very intelligent person. If you took a look at my college transcripts right now, my transcripts, you'd find like I wasn't the most intelligent person based on schooling. However, I go now and speak to colleges. I talk to individuals. What I want to know, oh man, I know. But when I learn about something, I will dive down deep and teach you about it. I am like borderline my family's Google most days. The things they come up with and think about, I've actually called things out. My son has referenced in weird ways. And he's like, dude, how did you even know what I was going to say? I go, I don't know. You said a couple things that made sense to me. And I believe that is kind of the journey and the process for a lot of us when it comes to intelligence. Not that I'm special, but this is how I've learned to do things. I've learned that whenever you get to the point of like me being a kid that wasn't that smart, to where now I can teach and talk and share on things that are psychology and based in neuroscience and understanding of concepts that people don't, understand in some aspects, even like space of like science and areas that I probably shouldn't spend time, but they're intriguing to me. I actually learned them because I desire to learn them, because I reapplied information. I could also sit down and teach about tackle football and the plays and a structure and a defense. I can tell you how to right now create something if you want to build it by hand through wood and tools and measurements. I just, these weird little things. I can even install your car stereo right now if I wanted to. But what it was tied to me understanding how to actually lean into the parts of my brain that I think most people avoid. And here's that part of the brain. This is going to be hard. My brain always notices that, and your brain notices it too. I've always had this one thought, well, if another human can do it, well, I probably can too. That seriously is how I've thought of my life, and I've focused on all the aspects of my journey of what I've gone through. I go, well, if somebody else can do this, then I should be able to do it too, right? I should be able to figure this kind of thing out. That little nuance has given me so much more of an edge on most people in my life that I honestly think that is why I'm successful in the ways that I am. Simply because I go, if someone else can do it, I can too. How? Not 100% sure. Figure it out though. And I do. And part of my brain that goes, it's going to be hard, goes, no, it's going to be fun. It's going to be challenge. It's going to be excitement. It's going to be great when you accomplish that. So I remember one morning I woke up, I was like, this apps, everybody's making apps. It can't be that hard. I got to be able to make an app. If somebody else can make an app, kid in a different country can, I can make an app. But I just didn't know these things. I was like, oh, it's going to be hard. 12 hours later, I had an app built on a platform that I could actually put out into the world. And I did. I showed some people what it was. It's a weird little thing. It's like habit tracking app, but I made it from scratch. And so that's kind of how my brain works. And I think it's how your brain has to work too if you want to increase your intelligence. See, what you do is you find this thing first you're curious about. What gives you curiosity? I think it's the first part that people miss. They think they have to learn something, have to do something. It's not about that. It's about leading with curiosity. When you're first curious, it allows you to put energy towards something that you typically wouldn't give energy towards, but give it almost endlessly. When I am forced to do something, I have to get it done, and I'm not curious about it, it becomes way more of a mental drain than curiosity. See, they say curiosity killed the cat. Why? Because it was going somewhere and trudging somewhere regardless of what was going on. And I found that for me, I go, I'm going to lean into this thing. So what I do is I find something that maybe I have to do but I don't want to, or something that's unique and different. I get curious intentionally. I start asking myself questions. What is this? Why does it work in that way? Why can't this happen? Why could this happen? Why should this happen? Why are they even doing that? And I ask the question so I can understand more about what it is, because curiosity leads to you finding out more and more and more. And when you're curious, you will give energy to something for 10, 12 hours sometimes before even feeling it, before noticing it. But if you don't want to do something, you're not a fan of what it is, you'll actually find ways to talk yourself into it every moment. Eventually, the willpower drains out and you don't do it anymore. So they say the person that loves to walk will walk farther than the person that only loves a destination. It's the journey of walking, of being curious and finding things out. Because then when you do, the brain can't help but answer questions. It can't. You ask a question. Do you know what the question is? You just answered that because your brain can't not answer the question. You get it? So the idea is like you have these questions that settle into you. And so when you get curious, you ask these questions, the more you lean, the more you go, the better you feel. And so my whole thing is like, hey, maybe I can just lean a little bit more into this area of asking questions about things that I'm not intelligent about or intelligent in. And the more I ask questions, the more I want to find the answer. The more answers I find, the more questions I get, and it becomes fun for me. It's a little bit of a dance or like this weird little, movement and flow where I'm kind of leaning in. The more I go into it, the more I start to like it a lot. Because here's an interesting thing. Curiosity leads to passion. Passion, loving something. When you're curious about something, curious about somebody, you get a little bit more passionate about it, right? You about that person as well, and you start doing more and more of whatever this thing was, right? Me, I was curious about speaking as a career, sharing my life, learning how to communicate in certain ways. And I said, I'm curious about this. And so the curiosity led me down pathways of going, oh, I can do this. And well, how do you do it? Oh, that's how you do it? Why do they do it? Oh, really? That's what they do. What do they make? Oh, that's what they make. Oh, that's how they impact. This is the amount of lives they change. Wow, like this is kind of cool. How do you do that? And the more you start asking questions, the more you start getting answers. The more you start getting more passionate about it. You wake up and it's right at the edge of your heart. You can't put it away. Your brain can't get off the topic. It just keeps staying in that same realm, and you start doing more and more and more of something. And the more you do of this thing, the more it becomes exciting, and it's just, I love this. And then you all of a sudden have this passion that flows into purpose. See, when I am purposeful of something, or I have a purpose to do something, and the intelligence just kind of flows out of me. Like I was curious about this industry. This was back a decade ago. I was curious about this. And I started getting passionate about it. And I started doing more of the work and figuring myself out and learning about things and being a guinea pig on myself. And then I started realizing I actually love this, and I believe of all things I'm doing in this world, I was meant to do this. I can't think of another thing on this planet that I would be better suited for than what I do as a career right now. I love it. My family enjoys that I love it. My family loves watching me do what I do when they get an opportunity to. Like there's this kind of cool nuance, and the world gets something great from it. So I do something I love that the world loves that I do. It's a passion now. And when it's a passion, man, you gobble up all the information you can because you want to be great at your passion. Let's say your passion happens to be, I don't know, birdhouses. You want to make birdhouse. You get curious. Well, what kind of birds like certain birdhouses? Or what's the best structure of birdhouse? What's the best kind of wood? What kind of seed should I put down? Where should I hang it? Is there a temperature? Like, and you start getting curious. You start getting passionate about it. Oh, did you hear about this? Hey, do you know about this information? Did you know that this existed? Oh, my. You get all passionate. All of a sudden you're doing this. And then the more you're doing it, people are loving that you're doing it and sharing it. And you start going, wow, this is why I'm here. It's my purpose for life. And then they tell you, you just know so much. You're so intelligent, right? But you may not know anything about shoes. You might not know anything about baking, but man, you know about birdhouses. So the thing is, it's not about, learning to do difficult things because they're difficult. It's about learning something that becomes less difficult the more you do it, right? It may be difficult overall, but it becomes easier for those who are passionate about it, those who have curiosity about it, those who find it to be their purpose. So when I say you're not stupid, you're not stupid. None of us are actually stupid. We just don't know much about that area. We're trying to measure ourselves as a dog in our ability to swim in the ocean. Yeah, we're not supposed to swim in the ocean. We're dogs and we love to be on land. So why am I going to go where the sharks are at, right? You don't judge a shark by its ability to walk on land. No, because sharks swim, right? That's the idea, is there's a difference there. And so if you can lean into that, you'll find that your intelligence is expansive. Your intelligence is boundless and endless. And it can be if you just learn to apply this same concept to any part of your life. Curiosity to passion to purpose. That is an amazing precursor to intelligence. And that is what people like to be around. Intelligent, thoughtful, passionate human beings. So become that person. And as always, every day, make sure you go into the world and make shift happen.